In the last video, I said this. Sky is looking pretty ominous, and that's because we've got a huge storm coming. Storm Ingrid. Well, Storm Ingrid didn't actually hit here, but we were right on the southern edge of what the red zone was, and it passed slightly north of us. However, a few days later, Storm Kirstin came. It hit Portugal like a wrecking ball. You cannot imagine the terror that happened in this country, particularly in the Leiria and Santarém and Coimbra district, which is where we live. But I want to tell you right away that we are both fine. The house is fine, everything's fine. There has been a bit of damage, but everything's fine. Everything is fixed and back to normal. However, it was a rough few days, really, really rough. Right, so I'm in my dressing gown and boots and pajamas. I just heard an enormous crash, so let's just see. I got a head torch here. I have no idea what's out here. Right, I've got some automatic lights. Definitely heard an enormous crack. I don't see anything. I suppose I should also say that, of course, Dan is away. Don't you just love my little lights? There's no wind at the moment. Gosh, I don't know. Oh, the orange tree's still there. You know what? This is ridiculous. I am going to wait until the morning. But it's the next morning, and it's not exactly very early. It's after 8 o'clock. Didn't sleep very well last night. But we're going to have a look out and see what greets me this morning. I've seen it. Now I am blocked in on both sides of the road. Whoop. Let's have a look. In the car park. Oh, it's got a bit wet today. Now I'm blocked in here, and I'm blocked in there. So I knew when I heard that crack there was something last night. Thank goodness I didn't actually come out very far in the dark, because that could have just come down. That's probably what the crack was. Yeah. So Dan was away on the Tuesday night when it happened, and I honestly sat up probably till about 1 o'clock in the morning, because it was just a wee bit unnerving, to say the least. We were being forecast another red alert, and this time we were bang in the centre of that red zone. And anyways, so yeah, thinking about it is quite unnerving. The 28th of January is, well, would be my brother's birthday. Was he still alive? So I went to my bed and I kind of said a little prayer kind of a thing. And I sort of said to my brother, oh, Dallas, could you look after me tonight, please? Because a long time ago, my brother was living in England and he was going back to Ireland to visit my parents, and he wanted it to be a surprise. And he'd asked if I would come and pick him up from the airport. And of course I'd agreed. But the evening that I was supposed to pick him up from the airport, we had a terrible storm. But we were always having terrible storms. I mean, to the extent where I always thought, oh, let's just sit down now in front of the fire and have a cup of tea and listen to the storm. And we were hitting winds of 100 kilometres an hour and driving rain, horizontal rain regularly. So I was always used to it. But here, it's a different type of construction. These buildings are built for a different type of weather than we've had here. So anyway, get back to the story. And yes, so I had to head off into the night, into the dark, into the storm to go and pick my brother up from the airport, which was a good hour and a half's drive away. And they had said not to go out unless you really needed to, and to pack an emergency supplies. So I packed an axe, a coil of rope. What else did I have? An axe, a coil of rope, and a shovel in the boot of the car. And I looked at it, and I remember way back, all those years ago, taking a photograph of it and posting it on Facebook, thinking it looked like I was about to commit a murder. But anyway, that's just a funny little story. I was thinking about a storm. It's got nothing to do with what's happened here. So I went to my bed, eventually, tossed and turned, and fell asleep. Well, about 5:45 in the morning, I heard the clatter and rattle of the roof, and I thought, oh no. And even seeing the damage to the house was so difficult because it's kind of hard to see. And the little camera, the flying camera, the little drone, doesn't go very, very high, and I need line of sight. And also you can't take it out in the rain or too much wind. So I came up with some tricks to be able to see what was happening to the roof, and then I was able to breathe. But there are so many people who still have no roofs. The winds like you would not believe. And the devastation is phenomenal all around those areas that I've said. I mean, very little has been seen on mainstream world news. Roofs have come off in our local village. The entire roof came off a house, one of those sandwich panel roofs, and landed in the middle of the street. 850,000 people lost power on the first night of that storm. And today, which is the 4th of February, there are still 170,000 people without electricity. Many still without communications, such as internet as well. And there's a huge number of people who need help. If you can help anybody, please do. So there he is. Oh, am I glad to see you.
Yeah, been a bit going on.
I've got tea on the go.
Oh, great.
And the cat decided to be an indoor cat. When Dan came back, he went to the local builder's yard to pick up some sticky stuff so we could repair the metal flashing. That's really all that happened. There's nothing much. And I thought a tile had come off, but it didn't come off the house. Dan headed off to the builder's yard, and when he was there, he said there was some people carrying tiles. And as soon as they walked in to the builder's yard, the man and woman behind the counter just shaking their heads because there aren't any tiles. They can't make them fast enough. There are so many houses that have been completely destroyed. The next thing you know, we're in for a warning again. Flooding and huge amounts of rain. But the weather has been so changeable. We've had rain, sunshine, hailstorms. Well, I am not joking. I have not relaxed for 10 days at least. Well over, almost 2 weeks. Dear Lord. You name it, we've had the lot. Everything thrown at us. Gosh, I'm still on edge. And I've seen other people, like other YouTubers as well, that have had serious damage. And sometimes it's not so much the damage, it's the actual fear of what might happen. It just leaves you feeling extremely kind of nervy all the time, a little bit jumpy. But there you go. Now, one really curious thing here in this part of Portugal anyway, is that if a tree comes down and blocks the road, doesn't matter who owns it, you can cut it, clear the road and keep the wood. So it's actually quite a good incentive for people to kind of help themselves and not be sitting around waiting for help to come. And so many people own chainsaws, not just one, but possibly 2. In different parts of Coimbra and Leiria, the local council have cut the trees that have been snapped and uprooted and then set them up at stations where you can come and help yourself for the firewood. So rather than worry about transporting them, they just leave it to the villagers. I've seen that happen last year when they were sort of clearing before fire season and things. It was just mountains of wood and the people were lining up in their trucks and taking it all away at great speed, and the rivers are overflowing. And I sort of wanted to show you something really special on this day because I've never mentioned it before, and it's the fact that we've got this little river, Ribeira, at the bottom of the land. Now I would call it nothing because normally it's barely a trickle, but I'm going to show it to you today, if you'll bear with me. And I'm not walking with the camera today because it is quite slippy. I want to be able to use my footings properly. But it's down that way, just so you know where I'm going. So come with me and we'll take a walk down and I'll show you the little river at the bottom of the land. I'm trying to get in before the rain comes back again. Here's a little bit of squelch. I'm going to hop over the javelin door. Put the camera down. I need 2 hands for stability. And I'll go a little bit further and show you where I am. The fence that I climbed over. And I'm going over this way. It's just for easy access. And it's down here. You can probably hear the river. So it's down here. I'm gonna put it away again so I can, it's really steep, you can't tell. But if I hold the camera horizontally, you can see it's a long way down. Still got quite a bit of slippiness to go down. Give me a second. So all the land over this side was flooded, like completely. This was right over its little bank. I just really wanted to show you the stream that we've never shown you because it doesn't normally exist. Yeah. So that's the bank I've had to come down. It's always very difficult to show you how steep something is, but it is really steep here. So I'm back up, safe and sound, and our biggest cork oak is still standing, which I'm really pleased to see. I'd also like to thank each and every one of you who phoned, or each and every one of you who made contact and sent messages asking if we were okay. And the most surprising thing is we got no calls from our families because they didn't even know the storm had happened. Yeah, it's quite surprising how little was shown outside of Portugal. Anyway, here I am. Oh, there's another branch of a horrible mimosa. But look, you can see they're almost in flower. That's it. That's my report. My kind of news roundup report from Coimbra district of Central Portugal. And we'll see you next time, and we'll be back with the courtyard garden, part 6. So, bye for now, and I'll see you next time. Stay safe out there.